Welcome back, everybody, to Pitchin Tents. I'm Ray. Alongside me, as always, is Davis, and a very, very special guest, Miss Morgan Shirley from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and her better half, lesser half, her only half, William behind the camera, who didn't have the courage to be with us today, here on Season 2, Episode 8 of Pitchin Tents, which is better than Under the Vinyl, right after this. What's going on? Welcome back. I just got word from our CEO and owner. I would like to apologize to the people, intellectual property owners at Under the Vinyl, and to Miss Shirley's husband, William, for that awkward intro. But we joke around. I wish you guys could have been here for the 10 minutes preceding the podcast. We've been laughing. We've been having a great time. Davis, as everybody knows, that's amazing. That's Davis West, smartest guy in the tent game. And honestly, at Season 2, Episode 8, probably a little bit too late in the game to have our first female guest, not only accomplished in the party rental space industry, but we're gonna peel back the curtain a little bit and get to learn a little bit more about Miss Morgan Shirley. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for driving down. Which I should have invited you last night. I don't know why I didn't.
You never do.
That's on me, bro.
Do you think we have two companies? You look at me as I'm like a weird cousin.
You're like, yeah, exactly. You're like a weird cousin. But no, we had a good dinner last night with Brian Bolt and his lovely wife and my wife, and then William over there, and got to go downtown Spartanburg. So. Got to hang out a little bit last night, but like I said, I can't believe we haven't had a female in yet. So,
are you a member of the Women in Rental at ARA?
No, but I probably should join.
You need to get involved in that.
I need to. Yeah, I really do.
Our matriarch, Miss Tiffany Hughes, if nobody knows who she is, she's an important cog in the wheel here at TopTec. She's and she does it with a level of grace and dignity that not a lot of people do. Just in a very quiet and subtle way, she advocates for women in rental. So
yeah.
And you're a younger business owner too. I mean, both of you guys, like, congratulations on it. It's always fun to see
a come up.
Yeah.
I love a come up, especially when they're using our stuff.
Yeah, we love TopTec.
Exactly. See, who doesn't? You know, TopTec's number one.
So you guys are based out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
We are. Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about us and our company.
Tell us about Cypress Tents.
Sure. So we, William and I, are married. Sometimes we get that question, like, are y'all brother and sister? I'm like,
really?
No, we're married.
I mean, y'all in Baton Rouge, you can theoretically, two things can be true at the same time.
So William and I are married, and we are about to approach our third year in October of being in business. It has been a wild ride, and I think if you went back 3 years and asked us, do we think we would be where we are now? I don't think we could ever foresee what would come our way. And we're really just like so blessed for that and grateful for everything that's come our way. So we started a rental company, like I said, 3 years ago. For the first year, we both worked full-time jobs. Yeah. And William did all of the rental stuff after work, after he worked his hours. Oh, yeah. I don't even know how he did it.
I mean, you were working a normal 40-hour week, and then longer.
Oh yeah, like maybe he was working what, William?
Average on
60 hours a week, and then going and slinging tents in the afternoon, or chairs and tables. And
he wasn't selling insurance. He was excavating, grading, moving heavy equipment.
Drone. Oh yeah, that was when he was inspecting power lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you all about that too, like about his background, my background, and then how we kind of ended up here. But so for the first year, we both worked full-time jobs, and then he said, I think it's time. I'm going to take the leap. And so then he has only been full-time in the business for 2 years. Okay. So we kind of, when people are like, how long have you been in business? For like, technically 3 years, but really full-time for 2 years.
But
so
it's a
wild.
Crazy amount of growth that y'all have had in those 2 years. And that's just a testament to how hard they work. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the relationships y'all built along the way, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely.
And I could probably imagine there's easier geographical areas to start getting in the outdoor tent space than the Delta.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure with groundwater and hydrostatic pressure and just winds coming off the Gulf of, what is it now? How do we call it?
Yeah, what is it?
The Gulf of
America?
Mexicarico?
What it is.
Whenever you're watching this podcast, it changes by day. By the way, rest in peace, United States FIFA World Cup 2026.
Yeah, sad.
So, I mean, and we're having fun, so I'll ask this personal question. You mentioned that it took a big leap of faith. Was there any part of that was crucial to y'all moving forward?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We talk about, like, kind of like looking back on everything, like God always has a plan for you. And sometimes you don't really know what that is.
Just got to trust.
You got to trust. And so I think that's where like, so we were talking beforehand about like, how did we even enter the rental world?
Yeah.
And where did that come from? Because we don't have a background in rentals and we didn't really know anyone that was in rentals.
Y'all are just crazy enough to try it.
Yeah, we didn't even know really what we were getting into. But, you know, it was certainly God, I think, having a hand in all of that for us. So I'll tell you like maybe a little bit about William's background and how that's relevant to where we are and some of the success we've had. His background is in construction and in building and in land development. And I think for him, he thought that's what he was going to do his whole life. And so he kind of, after he graduated college, he was doing land development. He had some opportunities to work for a drone company and to inspect power lines. And it was wonderful. We didn't have children. It was great. But the hours were crazy. Yeah. And it required so much travel, and he would be gone for like months at a time.
And I bet you can't plan for that either. It was probably like always just like drop the hat. Hey, we need you here.
It was. And it would be like, hey, I'm leaving. I'm going out of town. I'm going to Texas. And so we didn't have children at the time, so it was okay. But I'm actually from North Louisiana, not South Louisiana. And so a lot of the time when William would get pulled away was during hurricanes. And so he would be like, I'm out. And the hurricane hadn't come yet.
No,
and so I'd be at home by myself.
For impact.
Yes.
God.
Yes. So I'd be by myself, and it was wild. But so he did that, and it was great. But I think he and I both knew that wasn't where he could be long term.
Yeah. Especially if you want to raise a family, you know.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. And I think that's where things started to change for both of us. And we began to have a discussion of like, what are you going to do? And so he was like, I know, we were starting to have a family, and he was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to like construction.
Yeah.
And something just didn't, for me, I was like, that sounds great, but it didn't really sit right. Like there was just something off. I think that was kind of God speaking to, this isn't the right fit.
There was a void.
There was a void for sure.
Yeah.
And so he would come back and he would say, I'm going to go talk to this guy, and I'm going to talk to this guy, and I'm going to go call this person. And I was like, okay, are you sure? Like, there's a lot of builders. There's a lot of land developers, like, but whatever you think. So finally, someone reached out and said, hey, have you ever thought about tent rentals and doing event rentals?
Does this precede your wedding?
No, this is after the wedding. You want me to talk about the wedding too?
I'm teasing something right now, and I got one quick question. And anyone out there thinking about getting into the tent rental industry, is it fair to say that you have to be pretty willing to pivot and adapt?
1,000%.
Do you think there's a chance that, and William, I'm not speaking to her, just you're behind the camera, so do you think it's fair to say that maybe having to chase the storms was a way of William and you being prepped for the... Because it's how hard is it to drive 80 miles across town when you're normally driving 800 miles to chase a hurricane?
Correct.
So do you think that maybe there were
little seeds
being planted along the way?
For sure.
1,000%.
But we're teasing the big story about your wedding. We'll get there. But,
we will.
But you can see why I asked if it was preceding the...
100%. And I think that goes back to like even before William and I were married, and when, we'll talk about this too. Like I'm a practicing therapist, and I had the opportunity to go across the country and get my MSW.
You mean leave William?
Leave Baton Rouge.
Leave William behind. To go.
Early on in our relationship, and to go and to train. And so for me, our kind of narrative to each other was like, if you can do this now, then you'll be fine for whatever happens in life. And so I think that kind of contributes to what you're talking about.
I think, and it's this is what the burden of knowledge does. I think you just kind of breezed over. So an MSW gives someone what's called an LCSW. That's a licensed clinical social worker. Right. And most people that aren't in the space don't know what they probably think that all you do is allocate resources for indigent people or homeless folk. Anybody out there listening, some of the masters in social work can typically lead the HR department for 500 plus person companies, EAP programs. You can do private one-on-one. Did you have a private practice?
I still do. Yeah.
Congratulate. That is that is a big endeavor.
Yeah.
It's a much more that degree is a lot more panoramic and diversified than like a doctorate in psychology or if you're just a licensed mental health counselor.
Yes, 1,000%.
So now you're talking about dealing with personality. Davis, you've been putting up tents since what, 1999?
Since I was 16.
I was 16 in 1999, you young son of a bitch. What I was going to say is the ability to deal with some of these persons. We're in the tent industry. We're next door neighbors to Carney, the Carnival folks.
Well, I mean that, and I mean they're hardcore people. I mean they're people that are blue collar.
Well, I mean, you don't need a DSM-5 to study cluster B. You just go to anybody that's in. That was an inside joke for anybody that doesn't get it.
Yeah, but I think that's where we are going to have so much to talk about today of what is William's role in the business? I know that's something we've talked about. What is my role in the business? And so all of my therapy skills I use every day with all of the stress that comes from events or weather and all of that.
I'll need to set up some sessions with you at some point.
You can call me anytime.
Yeah, I think I need to set up some sessions for I need to get some things out of this dome up here.
But yeah, anyway, so we were kind of talking about
you need a flashlight and a firearm to travel through that minefield. I work with them. I know.
That is not true. Okay, so William and I, so he's like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And then someone is like, hey, have you thought about event rentals or doing a tent? And he's like, no, I haven't. And so that is where everything kind of started.
Just kind of
for
a
us.
light bulb, huh?
Yep.
So,
in our market at the time, there had been a lot of change.
Yeah.
And there was a great need for really nice, good quality rentals.
Yeah.
And there was a huge need for great customer service.
Can you elaborate on that need for change just a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. There was just a lot of things that had just been done for the same way for a very long time.
Yeah.
So if anyone needed something new or maybe what you would see on Instagram.
There was no cutting edge stuff coming out from where y'all were.
No.
Yeah.
You were traveling. You were bringing it in from different, some people were bringing it in from Texas. Some people were bringing it in from different parts of the state. There was just a great need for us to kind of catch up in the event space with what's happening across the country. Right. And so when you think about how Instagram and TikTok influences so much of what happens. It pushes the trends now. It pushes it. And so people would say, I want this.
That's so funny you do that. Not too long ago when we had Greg on, he said, they come up to you and they don't have an idea what they want. They just show you a picture and say, can you do this?
They do.
Well, it went from Pinterest, which would be user-created content, to the social media-driven.
Right.
And we've seen we keep breadcrumbs and seeds. I'm noticing the trend. Everything's biblical today. Shout out to the Lord.
It is.
So it is really funny now how in 7 seconds or less, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram can push the pulse faster than any of our marketing campaigns and
100%.
dollars can.
Oh, 1,000%. And so that's where, in our market at the time, there was just really not a lot of access to great rentals, to great customer service. And so the more we began to talk to people and to learn about what their needs were, we were like, oh, we can do this.
Yeah.
We can do this with William's construction background. He can really tackle anything if he sees the picture, he can figure it out.
Yeah.
And so we always laugh, when we first got started, William, he started buying the inventory and my dad was actually and he was talking about, hey, I'm going to go put this tent up or whatever. And my dad's like, how do you know how to do that? And he's like, well, I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. And so that's been kind
one
of the
bolt
mantra.
At a time.
That's one bolt at a time. And he did. And so that's kind of how, for us, that's how we got introduced to it.
Yeah.
When we first got started, I think we thought that a lot of because this is what had historically existed in our market, people call the phone and say, hey, I need 25 chairs and 8 tables and some,
You almost have to reteach them on what they can do now.
Oh, yes, we do. And we laugh as a company now because we don't really do a lot of that type of work anymore.
Right.
We do more design-based work. We're doing a lot of education as we bring new things into the market, especially with regard to tenting. In our market at the time, pretty much the only thing that existed was a West Coast frame.
Yep.
And so that's where y'all kind of came in
bridge that gap.
to bridge the gap and to try. And so that's kind of our push. Like we're really trying to like bring in things that across the country people have had access to for a long time,
but not in y'all's market.
But not in our market at all.
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of education for us to teach people about what is a keter tent, what does it look like, how is it different, talking about safety standards with the weather that we have in Louisiana that's always so unpredictable. So a lot of education there in our market as well.
Well, what you're going to see too coming down the line, even in y'all's area, is codes officials and fire marshals being more and more strict.
Yep.
And so those old West Coast style frames that everybody is used to putting up are going to be teetering on that line of not able to.
And a lot of them have been around for
decades.
Whenever I drive around and I see like secondary and third uses for you're seeing a West Coast tent that might have been up for, Bill Clinton to campaign for president.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So two things really quick. One, because I didn't get the chance to make One Bolt at a Time is a great name for Brian's novel when he writes his autobiography for the RA.
That is
One Bolt at a Time. Shout out
you
Brian
hear
Bolt.
that? There's your book
should.
title, One Bolt at a Time.
And your humility is almost palpable because you glossed over two or three really important things without unpacking it. You have a company that grew, and you talked about the ability to not be burdened by what was to prevent what can be.
Yeah.
So to the young and aspiring business owners and entrepreneurs out there, because for me, Davis and I our job is to basically separate people from their money for a TopTec product.
Mm-hmm.
That is not your case. Talk to the 25-year-old you that's not sure what to do, and the difference between the lowest price and the lowest total cost of ownership when it comes to building an inventory, because you seem to have a pretty good.
So your question
acumen.
being like, what's the difference in investing in quality versus just buying the cheapest stuff?
Somebody out there, they're going to look at a West Coast tent, 40 by 20, and you're going to see the price tag versus, a keter tent or a track. And for somebody, we're going to keep touching on that MSW. Fear dictates so many parts of our life that we don't even realize that it does.
Yeah.
The lowest total cost of ownership. Sometimes the cheapest thing is not the cheapest thing. That's what I'm.
Okay. Yeah, that is a great, and we have gotten, so kind of segueing with that, like we've gotten the question a lot of times, like, hey, y'all just bought somebody's inventory. Like, when y'all just bought that company, we're like, what are you talking about? We didn't. And we went in and made a huge investment initially and bought everything brand new because our market desperately needed it. We could have gone in and bought the cheapest junk that's on the market just to have the stuff, but that doesn't fit what we felt like our market needed. And so it did kind of create some challenge because it would be easier to just go buy everything in a West Coast frame.
Yep.
And we did start initially and cheaper.
Yeah.
What we have seen and so we did start because that's what our market had with West Coast frames, and we do still have them. But we
y'all didn't stay in that space long. It was a pretty quick segue into future track. Like this is our need.
Correct.
We've made some money off of this. We've reinvested it back, and now we're ready to make a bigger investment in our business.
Yes, and I think where it changed for us was when we needed to buy 40 wide.
Yeah.
So when we started, we really started with like the y'all are probably gonna love this. The Crawfish Boil Starter Pack is what we call it.
2020
10. Oh yeah, just what you would throw up in your backyard and some Samsonite chairs and like. If we would have stayed there, we would never be where we are now.
Right.
And we had some like wonderful opportunities very early on to do bigger events.
That probably paid for a good chunk of
that paid for a lot of the inventory.
Yep.
And so a lot of that was like my sister's wedding she was getting married about a year into us being in the business. And so my parents and my sister were like, oh no, like y'all are definitely doing the rentals for the wedding.
Yeah.
But we needed a 40 wide and we didn't have a 40 wide at the time. And so we had been very blessed to know some people in the industry outside of our market, like around the country that have been very successful in the rental world. And so they kind of started mentoring us and telling us, hey, you need to go here, you need to go here, you need to go here. And so when we started having the discussion about the 40 wide, they were like, you've got to go to TopTec and you need to talk to Brian Bolt and you need to talk to Davis.
Are there any people out there, because we have a decent little viewership in the industry, anybody out there that, kind of helped you guys up the step ladder that you feel comfortable thanking by company name?
Oh, we can. Yeah. Terry Turner was wonderful
Just
for
great
us.
guy.
Yeah. He was a great, oh my gosh.
Open his door to you anytime. Come in.
He did.
And that's what's so crazy about the rental world. That
Every
we live in.
podcast, we somehow manage to touch on this.
We always get back to this.
Yes.
Everybody here, if you have a question or 5 minutes, they will sit down and they will tell you everything you want to ask.
Over a hot cup of coffee or a cocktail in there, and nowhere. And William, you come from construction. If I don't have the availability to build a pergola for somebody, very seldom does anybody say, "Hey, call my friend down the road." There's again fear, right? People have this thought that there's a limited bucket of money and happiness, and if Morgan and William get any, that's less for me and Davis. But in the rental industry,
it's like everybody's like, you succeed, we all succeed.
Sub-rent this,
correct.
And if you need mentor, I've never seen anybody. And every time that we do a show, it somehow manages to. So Terry Turner, this bud's for you.
Yeah, thanks, Terry.
He was great, and there weren't people in our market that were willing to talk to us, to educate us, and to we were very blessed to have some people that said, "Hey, call this person," and because people around the country were doing things so differently than what we were doing in our market, that's where I think it began to shift us away from, hey, this is what everybody's done here, to, hey, this is what the whole country is doing.
Because Terry's market, I mean, he's driving the same kind of products that y'all are driving.
Right.
And like I said, I have nothing but great things to say about
Can you
Terry.
give Terry's company a little?
Oh, yeah, all occasions. In Knoxville. I mean, they do. Anytime you see a tent on the football stadium at University of Tennessee, that's Terry Turner.
Go Vols. Have you ever done anything at the Bourbon Bowl for the Mud Dogs?
No.
Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher. We talked about bringing that up in here.
That's some high quality
Louisiana people.
I know that.
Mama said the West Coast. Yeah, so I'll do it. Yes, Coach Klein. We were gonna wear like Mardi Gras stuff.
Y'all should have.
When Brian Bolt came on, we were gonna get like bald caps.
Skull caps just for fun.
I love that. But yeah, that's where it changed for us. So we that's when we were introduced to the Keter tent, and then we were like, this is a game changer. And now we're having discussions where we're getting ready to phase the 30 watt out and move to a Keter, because we really are trying to operate at what the industry standard is around the country.
Right.
And that's present in our company a lot right now through the new safety standards that are coming out, really focusing on training our guys, making sure we're operating with best practices in mind.
When your guys see you investing back into them too, it creates a loyalty to yourself.
Right.
And then they take pride in what they're doing for you.
Right.
And it's just all, I mean, the more you can invest in your people, the better.
Yeah. And so we've been just really leaning into ARA. We go to the show every year, doing the trainings. William and one of our head guys they're going to go to match.
You're not going?
No, because I don't do the installs. But I might be there on install day, but I'm not putting the tent up.
It's a great networking event. It's a phenomenal. Davis happens to be on the board of Matra.
Yeah,
I know.
I have to plug it.
Yeah, they're going to go this year. And we're really trying to...
It's in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Trying to be on par with where we need to be as a company.
The more you can get ahead of it, the better you're going to be on the back end. Because you don't want to be that company that's like, we're just going to hold out and keep doing things the way we're going to do it. And then the one day comes in and the light switch changes and then your whole process is just in shambles.
Correct.
Quick question. So when you talked about that growth year, call it year 0 to year 1, 1 to 2, would you say you lean more into organic growth or synthetic growth with external financial? Because it seems like you guys are, 2-person army under one God. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting from y'all.
Yeah, no, that's how we operated in the beginning. We say a lot. We did a lot of cliff diving in the beginning, and we would go, okay, we're going to do this, and we'll figure it out, and God will provide. And that was our mantra. And we would look at each other, and we still do, and we're like, are we going to make it through the summer? Because in Louisiana, it's so hot, and people don't really have big events. And so we would go, God's, He's not going to bring us this far and not provide for us. And so, yeah, we are shifting away from that model of doing so much cliff diving because now we have a better grasp
A little
on
bit
like
more strategic.
where we are, and we're shifting into more strategic inventory purchasing and the way we operate and work with customers. But in the beginning, we just would like figure it out. And I think that came
That's
with calling.
good, though. I mean, that teaches you lessons that you wouldn't get if you did sit there and plan it out. Because I'm sure those times when you just dive into something
Correct.
and you meet a problem head on that you haven't had to experience, or you might not have experienced if you hadn't have just dove in.
Right.
It just sets you up for success later on down the road because
Yes.
hey, we've been in those trenches.
I don't reckon
Correct.
Jonah planned on being inside a whale. I'm just,
Right.
Yeah.
That's and this is a really good idea. So we're talking about pivoting. We're talking about desperation. Desperation's the mother of all inspiration. This is the greatest time. Y'all go on YouTube. You've seen Bridezilla before.
Yeah.
Your marriage is obviously rock solid foundation, which is amazing. But the ceremony itself did not come through unscathed. Why don't you walk us through that?
Oh, through our wedding.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We got to touch on
Talk
that.
about foreshadowing, right?
Yeah, for real.
Of what
ominous
was
warning?
to come. Yeah, I don't know, either one. But so William and I were getting married in 2020. And
Nothing was going on in
Yeah,
2020.
Nothing.
Nothing in the
It
world.
was a normal year.
Yeah.
And obviously COVID was happening at the time. And, I don't remember the exact timeline of when the call came, but we had intended to do our wedding reception inside at this country club that's like near and dear to both of us. And about a week, probably maybe 2 weeks before the governor had done a shutdown to where like he had put limits on how many people could gather
Right.
inside a space.
Yeah.
And so at the time, we're like, what do we do? Because all the invitations had gone out and it was not an option for us to start calling people and saying, hey, you can't come to the wedding. And someone was like, well, let's tent. And then you can maximize both spaces.
Right.
You can have people outside
And
if they
inside.
needed to social distance or do whatever they needed to do. And you could have the maximum amount of people inside. And so that's what we did. And this was way pre-rental world. And it was great. It was like the best night. And I think that's where a lot of things started for us because we had whether or not we knew it at the time or not.
I was about to say there was a seed planted at that point.
Correct.
For sure.
You do realize 80% of brides and just people in general would have been absolutely destroyed.
Right.
People have part of the human condition is we have the inability to get off the conveyor belt.
To pivot.
And developed individuals have the ability to adapt and to pivot.
Right.
So I mean that's the more I get to talk to y'all that's another no bridezilla. So you refuse to let that ruin the special. My wife, we got married in the winter of 2019. We're on our honeymoon in 2020 on a cruise ship. We were the second to last cruise ship allowed to put. Do you remember when they kept some of them out there for 3 or 4 months?
Yes.
We were in Costa Maya, Belize, Roatan, Honduras. Jesse, if you watch this, I love you. She has no idea that we do this. I don't even know I did that. She'll never. She watches under the vinyl. She said Kyle's way more handsome than me. So we're sitting there and we're like literally watching COVID unfold. We're on the boat and then they're not sure if they're going to let us pull back into port. So when we get back into Cape Canaveral, we look. There's like 14 ships, 8 miles.
Chilling.
And we were the same way where it's like, a lot of people were losing that. And I'm just kind of like, well, we're here.
What are you going to do?
You can't do anything about it.
No,
I mean,
you can't.
It is what it is. We can either gripe about it or we can come up with a rain plan.
Correct. And that's what we did. And I think for us, we got a lot of familial buy-in on that.
Yeah.
And that's where, the seed was planting. When everyone had the best time at our wedding, it was wonderful. And being under a tent during any kind of an event changes the mood.
Yeah.
It
really does.
It changes
There's something
everything.
about being outside in an open tent.
There really is. It changes everything. And so if you ever have the opportunity to do a tented reception or an event outside, I would say do it. It's worth every penny because it's just magical.
Yep.
And so that's what we did. We had our wedding reception outside, and that's where it kind of changed for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether or not we knew it at the time.
Yeah, right.
But the ability to pivot, which is the name of the game in the event world.
That's like, you already have that down pat, and in the event world, you
Right.
have to be ready to pivot at any moment, any time.
And
Yeah.
this is a really interesting. We talk about pivoting. Davis and I talk to everyone and anyone in the tent, and 95% of the time, it's either like familial lineage.
Mhm.
You know, Kyle and his dad, Mr. Richardson, probably like one of the most well-established rental companies. We poke fun, but in all sincerity, one of the most successful companies in the industry.
Yeah.
And if it's not a son, if it's not a daughter, if it's not a nephew, it's somebody that you brought up through the ranks.
Right.
William is obviously very successful in his own right.
Right.
And we talked about you. What is it like leaving? And I'm sure that you had a level of success or financial freedom. You know, some people like it's either tents or nothing. You'd agree with that. A lot of people like, this is what
Yeah.
I have to do
Right.
to have a comfortable life.
Right.
How do you look back on 6 years of education, board exams,
Yeah.
studying the DSM,
Sure.
all those clinical hours, externships? How do you abandon those to throw up a 40 wide?
Well, I'm still.
You might need a
practicing.
licensed therapist.
Yeah.
No, I still practice as a therapist, and I think that's like crucial to my role in the business as well. So I do still have a practice that's very important to me, but I do also.
Do you see patients under a tent? That would be really like.
That would be really great. No, I don't.
We can call it intense therapy. We have a whole.
There you
This is
Maybe I need to change my business name.
There you go. That's exactly right.
No,
instead of a crown cluster, we can call them cluster B. You know, that's a
That's
two
hilarious.
people will get that joke.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No one. But no, so I still practice in my practice, and really and truthfully, you know, all of my training and everything that I have learned or that I have expertise and knowledge in with relation to working with people as a therapist, I use every day in the
Yeah.
event world, whether it's like kind of front of house stuff. So William and I have started separating, like, I handle most front of house all the way up until the day of the event. He handles everything back of house, and then we both handle a cluster of things together. But all of my training I use every day, whether it be with the stress that comes with events and talking to people about their events, or conflict management with difficult customers, or even working with our team and how do we have leadership and different skills as a team? How do we hire people that are good fits for our company and our culture? How do we lean into pivoting?
Yeah.
And how to work with your husband?
I was about to mention that.
yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I would be cut out for that, but I guess your therapy training has helped you with that, huh?
Well, we're working on that.
When you
William,
were-
why are you laughing?
I don't know.
When you said like handling conflict, and everybody
Yeah.
out there has people that are not happy,
Yeah.
and I think what most people don't realize is we tend to be they project it on us, but typically that's unresolved internal conflict. And so, and if
Correct.
you can look at somebody and realize like what they're saying is not being said at me or
Correct.
to me, I just
Correct.
happen to be the person in front of them.
Correct.
That's been crucial. We have a similar educational background, you and I, so it allows me to. I have one simple rule, right? My customer's not always right, but they're always the customer.
Correct.
And it was funny. Me and you saw
Correct.
somebody posted that on Facebook. I'm like, this son of a bitch stole my line.
That's right.
Correct.
And I think if more people just had a basic understanding of
Mhm.
like motives and, you know, human emotion,
Right.
that's it's always the tip of the iceberg. You know, it's by the time somebody presents with behavior that needs to be addressed, it's
Exactly.
probably we keep talking breadcrumbs and seeds. You
Yeah,
go back.
I remind myself all the time, like, I can't control how somebody acts towards me. All I can control is how I react.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
And so I have to remind myself of that quite often.
He was telling me this
but
morning, he's like, you don't know what it's like being the most handsome guy in the tent industry. It's terrible. The people throw
It's such
themselves.
a burden.
It's so hard. Yeah. No, but it's so true. And even like from how we operate as a company, I've done a lot of internal training with our team about how to respond to people or how to listen when people are stressed, how to connect with them when they're, you know, when weather's coming in at their wedding. And sometimes our team will call me, especially William, and say, you got to get out here now. I'm trying to put a tent up and we need some interference to come help. And so I go and, or, you know, so all of those skills are so relevant in helping us to be successful too.
You might need to do a seminar master over this.
Well, we've had a lot of people. And I would love to do that.
I can make that happen.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to do that.
Can you imagine 100 blue-collar tent guys meditating on the beach, doing warrior pose, like journaling about their internal trauma?
Right.
Like
Everybody gets a journal when you come in. We're going to talk about our
We're
feelings.
going to do some deep breathing.
everyone's going to be crying and hugging each other, drinking matcha and kombucha.
Yes.
That's
Well, and we like locally with some of the people we work with a good amount of time, there has been an expressed need for like, hey, Morgan, will you do like a seminar for us about how to deal with this or how to deal with that? And so that is on my agenda for the fall. And just to invite people and say, hey, come like, and let's talk and connect about what we've been through or how to navigate things. Because ultimately, like we always say, William and I say, and I don't remember who said this to us, but it is what it is. If I can remember, I'll give them credit. But it's like you're only as good as your best vendor. So like if you're only as good, as your worst vendor. And so if we can all kind of collectively as a community that all comes together for events and be on the same page with how we deal with stress that comes up, then we all benefit
because it
from
comes
it
up quite often.
all the time.
I tell people all the time, in construction, not taking anything away from construction, but on a construction rain day, you don't see anybody out there working.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Even rentals, if that wedding is that day, it doesn't matter rain, snow,
Correct.
sleet, whatever's going on.
Correct.
It has to happen.
Well, and that is one of the, I think some people will be like, oh, event rentals, like it's really fun. And it can be super fun and very rewarding and exciting and all of those things. But it is also very stressful.
High pace, high stress.
High pace, high stress. And it'll be, especially like in Louisiana, but I think everybody around the country has their own type of weather that comes
100%.
in. It'll be us at 3:00 in the morning, William's waking up, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm checking the radar. I'm going.
Yeah.
I got to go check these tents.
Yep.
Or it will be me, 9 months pregnant, and weather comes in, and William's like, put your rain boots on. We're going.
Yeah.
And so that did happen. We were
Just
working
in
a
case
wedding.
you go into labor.
Yeah.
So I can take you
Well,
to the
I
hospital
did.
right now.
I did actually go into labor working in the rental world. With so we have 2 young children. We have an almost 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Yep.
And so with May Lewis, I did go into labor, work in a high stress event. William called me on a Saturday and said, so my mom had taken our oldest, and she was like, this is the last week for y'all, before you have your baby, just take the weekend and like reset and relax. And we made it until about 8:00 in the morning, and William's calling me going, you got to get up here and help me with this. And so I went and I did, and I helped. And then I went into labor, and we had our baby. Our
Davis
baby.
made Grant's crib out of Future Jack frame. I saw he swaddled his baby in double blackout vinyl. He had a little clear top for the face. He's obsessed. He's the guy
He
eats,
did.
sleeps, and breathes.
He did.
Can you talk the labor force in Baton Rouge? What does that look like for y'all right now? Because a pain point for so many of our
Yep.
dealers around the country seems to be labor.
We touch on this every podcast.
It's terrible. It's a challenge. It's one of the probably
to get laborers.
To get
Quality
good
laborers.
to get good laborers is so stressful.
Yeah.
And especially because we have a standard of what we're going to put out there. We, from the top all the way to the most basic position in our company. Like I talked about earlier, the quality that we put out is so important to us.
It's a direct reflection of your name.
It is
So-
in who we are and what we want to provide to our community. And it's so big in our culture too. Like in Louisiana, it's all about hospitality and
Crawfish.
crawfish. Yeah, with tents, crawfish with tents.
Rubber dub dub.
What? You say rub a dub dub?
But labor's hard. It's really stressful, and we've been very blessed that we have some incredible people that work for us.
Would you recommend? And I'm talking to so many of the 25-year-old you and Davis and me and Williams out there in the world.
Sure.
Would you recommend trying to reconcile and fix a relationship with an employee that's struggling, or to rip off the Band-Aid and stuff? Because I'm under the impression that it's always more economical. It's easier to fix something that's not going well
Absolutely.
than it is to. And we in construction in general, a lot of these guys without a formal background in HR, it's a get off my jobs, and they have a you could throw away a 4-year positive relationship for 3 bad weeks.
Absolutely.
So you with that MSW, go ahead and talk to our massive amount of viewers, so many more than Under the Vinyl. Tell them I'm going to get shot.
You and Kyle are going to fight.
They are never going to buy a TopTec tent, ever.
But I'm always about restoring the relationship. For us, we as a company have a standard of who is going to work there, and really it's based on attitude. And I mean, if someone comes on day one, our guys can pretty much tell if they're going to work or not.
Right.
And we let them make the decision.
Yeah, because they're going to be the ones working.
Because they're going to be the ones working. And so they will, William says, and I say, you just let us know. If it's not a good fit, let us know. And so really from day one, we're really looking at attitude. We're looking at because anything can be taught. Any skill can be taught.
But the willingness to learn.
To collaborate.
So is it fair to say you guys practice, I think it's called servant leadership? Are you familiar with that term?
Yeah, we try.
Am I using that appropriately?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for anybody out there that doesn't know it, there's in the last 25, 30 years, it used to be from the manufacturing base, it was like, you blow the whistle and you keep your foot on the throat of people.
Correct.
And the difference is that if you have a tendency to give agency and autonomy to the, some of the lower level employees, they have a vested interest in the company.
Absolutely.
And that, I've noticed, you remind me a little bit of, in a different way, our buddy Bowen out there in Magnolia.
Yeah.
Just a really forward thinking and a softer approach to what is for so many years been dominated by blue collar,
Right.
If the stake doesn't get down, what do? You hit it harder.
I mean, I look at somebody like Bowen that, when he took over the business from his father, it was highly on the tool rental side. They had been doing the same kind of tents over and over and over again. And then Bowen comes in and brings in the black tent into their market, and it's just booming for them.
Have you met this guy?
No.
I'm going to make fun of Bowen. You met Bowen?
No, but William has.
I don't know if I met Bowen, but we've actually.
Did we buy something from them? Yeah, I think we did.
Bowen's great. He's got a mustache, in shape. Kind of looks like a blue collar guy. Might have played baseball in college, and he's just sitting there. He's got a little vape, and I like drapery because I don't want to see extreme. And he's got this. He has the mind of an interior decorator. It blows my mind. He is so enamored with, like you said, that front of the house.
Correct.
And as I said, it's funny.
Very, very creative.
As private,
that's like William.
As private equity tries to spearhead its way into our business and into our sister, private equity wants to take up everything, and they suck the humanity, that little personal touch, even your ability to mitigate a conflict with an employee.
Oh yeah,
and it's young folks like you and Bowen that are. It's funny. You guys are fighting the monster that is private equity, and it's very cool to see.
Well, and I think we laugh too, like about our team that we have, we, like I said, we really care about the people that we hire, and we can tell day one if they're going to fit with our culture, and not everybody's going to fit with our culture.
Well, you've created a family.
We have, and we even laugh because like my son had an art show at school, and he was very serious about this. He wanted all the tent crew to come to his art show. Yeah, he did. He was so serious, and it wasn't able. It wasn't. They weren't able to do that because we had a big job, but we do have like a very close family, and he was serious about it. He wanted them to come to his art show at school, and started naming them out, and they're just great people, and we would not be where we are without them. But it is a challenge, and that's something we face all the time is like labor and trying to be creative about and talking to people. Like one thing William and I do is we are not the expert in the country about any of these things. And so we are always trying to position ourselves around the people that are and to call them and say, hey, how did you figure this out? Or what are you doing for this? And that's where I think that's helped contribute to a lot of our success is knowing we're not the end all be all know everything about this. Let's call someone who really is and who's done this for 30 years.
For example, I mean, y'all got to see Dan Hook's place at Party Reflections on the way down here,
Unbelievable.
He's a titan in the industry.
Unbelievable.
You know, and right after this, we're going to go to Professional Party Rentals in Greenville.
Yep.
Still to this day, and I'll say this on camera, PPR probably has one of the most impressive showrooms I've ever been in my entire life. It's
I'm so
unbelievable. And then we're going to go see Event Rentals, who is another incredible outfit. I mean,
Right.
4 locations all across the state now, and that's who I used to work for.
Great.
But, I mean, yeah. It's
PPR, one of my favorite things about their showroom is, have you ever seen showrooms out there and people try to inundate? They try to put as many things per square.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a term out there. We're like really going into, it's like a paralysis by analysis. You can almost overload somebody's
100%.
ability.
100%.
And when I went into PPR, like it felt like, and my
flows.
first question was this designed like professional? It felt ergonomic. I'm so Gen Z. I'm saying
Yeah.
ergonomic and feng shui.
Yeah.
so the owner's wife does all the
That's what I
That's
learned,
awesome.
and
Yeah.
it was so perfect.
Yeah.
It was so perfectly set up, and they're another young company. You know, a lot of
Right.
30-somethings
John,
are really.
who's just taken over, or not just taken over. John's kind of working into that role of. I mean, I think he bought. I'm not going to speak on it, but he's one of the new main owners of PPR, and he's young, energetic. You know, gets out there, grinds with the guys, and goes out there and finds jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes to all these shows and he's networking. He wants to learn. You know.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where we are too. Like, we're always wanting to, whether it's calling y'all or calling anyone and saying, how do we do this? Like, here's the picture that we need to do.
Yeah.
How do we make this happen? And then beyond that, how do we do it correctly?
Right.
You know,
And repeatable.
and repeatable and profitable.
Yep.
And what's the best way to do this? One of the things that we take a lot of pride in is doing things correct,
Right.
not cutting corners. And that kind of goes back to your earlier question. Like, anybody can go out and buy the cheapest tent and read a manual, but that's really not the correct way to do it. That's not the safe way to do it. That's not the best quality.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can tell when you walk under the Keter tent, the quality, and it makes a difference.
Yep.
It makes a difference.
Oh, 100%.
A lot of people. It's funny. I like to people watch. It's kind of like one of my favorite things in the world to do. People get so enamored by those who get successful. I'm like, it's not whether or not you can get successful; it's whether or not you can stay successful.
Yeah.
Right.
And so many people,
Right.
it's like the second they get to that point of success, they
Kick it back.
and they think like, oh, now it's. And I'm like,
I'm
no,
here, I
that's
can
when
relax.
the
Right.
work starts.
Yes.
Like when you look at Alex and John and Bowen and all these other so many people that we're close with, we're friends with. It's once they get successful is when they double down their efforts.
Yep.
Correct.
And I find it funny, that's you look at a lot of athletes. Davis, we joked last week. Every washed-up college golfer works in tents.
Oh yeah.
How many people did you see? Like they get through Q school, they get somewhere, and then they
You never
I
hear
made
them.
it.
You never hear from them again.
Right.
because
They've made it, yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger said this thing. He goes, "The wolf climbing the hill is always hungrier than the
Mhm.
wolf on top of the hill."
Yeah.
I find myself like now personally invested. Like I really hope that you guys.
Thank you for that.
Because I'm sure that you're down the food chain too. The employees are probably reaping the benefits of what you two have been able to.
Yes, sometimes more than we are.
Yeah.
And
That's something
Brian Richardson told us.
yes.
Yeah, I guess y'all heard that. And he was like,
Yes.
sometimes it means keeping your best employees make.
More
More than
money
you.
than you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we feel
And
that
sometimes
too.
it's not all about money either, Like,
Mm-mm. I think for us, it's really about like when we initially started, it was like, wow, can you imagine if we made X amount? Like
Yeah.
if we were able to even make this amount, or if we could make this amount a month, that would be unbelievable. And, by God's grace, we've been able to do some incredible things in a short amount of time. Now it's about how do we make an impact on our community?
yeah.
How do we do good by the people that work for us? And that was always there. But it's like, now we're like, okay, how do we do right by everyone in our community? How do we deliver something memorable? Because oftentimes we're doing you get one shot
Yep.
to do someone's wedding or someone's funeral or
Mhm.
something very meaningful in their life.
Hopefully, it's one shot for
Hopefully.
someone's wedding or funeral.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
One shot to do it. And so for us, it's like, how do we make that an incredible experience? And then how do we maintain that quality as we continue to grow?
Right.
And so I think if you look back at the past 2 years, for us, 3, but 2 full-time, for us, it's been it almost was easier in the beginning than what we're starting to dive into now because we're
Right.
growing so much. And how do you maintain what's so integral to us as we grow?
Yeah. So I know we're coming up on the hour, but I've got to touch on this. What are the trends that you're seeing?
Oh,
right
okay,
now?
great question.
In your market, at least, or what you're seeing that you could sell that's a new trend.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as it fits inside the TopTec brand.
Oh, well, it'll fit inside the TopTec brand because we love TopTec. For us, from a tinting perspective, okay, now
You can go both.
go always.
We're in the event
Okay.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but I think it's important to speak about the is it called sublimated tents?
Yes,
the
ma'am.
wood
Okay.
looking.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
wood grain.
Yep.
Super hot right now.
Yep.
I know around the country the black frame is
Mhm.
really hot. I don't know if that would work. I don't know if our market's there yet.
I was about to say that might not be y'all's market.
I don't think it is yet.
Maybe in a metro setup. If there was something
Correct.
downtown, I could see it's very contemporary. It looks similar
the
to what-
bayou and everything.
I mean, you got to have it down.
Everything Louisiana is outdoors,
Correct.
so that wood
Correct.
just matches.
It matches everything. And like for us, I think that's going to do really well. We're really excited
Do you
about
like the
that.
translucent tops?
I do. I'm
I showed
super
them the
excited
sail
about
cloth
that.
material walking around. So
Yep.
we had some of that back there.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. And I think it's going to do really well. And I think the challenge with the trends is that because there's access to Instagram and whatnot, you can see what anybody around the country is doing at any time. And so the trends are always changing.
Yep.
And so for us, the challenge is how do you
Maintain that.
stay
trend.
with the trend, but
But invest in something
Invest.
that's not going to be not in next year.
correct.
You know.
Correct. I think painted bars are in.
Yes.
We
Huge.
use something. We offer 3 colors of painted bars right now, and they've done unbelievable.
What colors are you doing in that?
Well, we have white,
Yep.
green, and blue,
What
like a
color
light
is
blue.
the green like a past?
It's like a soft green.
Yeah.
And it's
Seafoam
done so
green.
well.
Yeah.
And so we offer we build all of our stuff in house. So all
Oh,
of our
cool.
bars, all of our shelving, all of our stage fronts, all of that is William that starts with a napkin, and
Yeah.
we'll see something and go, how do we build this? How do we do it? Or let's build something like this. So
Do you do any HVAC?
limited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Limited. I think it's just we quote some of it, but then people are like, that's
That's a lot,
really
though.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
is. I mean, you got to have generators. You got to have an
Correct.
AC unit. You got to have a special wall with a duct on it.
Correct. We've done it with a limited amount, but painted bars are really hot, and then the sublimated tents I think are the biggest trends I'm seeing right now.
I'm telling you, it's
Draping too.
draping's huge.
Huge.
Nobody wants to see any metal.
Bowen just
None.
Yeah, Bowen
just smiled, hit his
perked
vape
up.
right. I
Bowen-
told y'all.
The vaping.
Like Bowen just.
Yes, vape the draping, not the vaping. The
Wow.
draping is so huge right now,
Yeah.
and we're excited. Like we already have some jobs where we're like, oh, we're gonna drape this job,
Yeah.
and excited about.
Do you think
How
that
we're gonna
offsets
do
the
that.
sublimated poles and?
Depends
I
on
think
how
in
much.
that terms, you probably wouldn't drape as much on the sublimated tent.
Correct.
But like Bowen's black tent that they put up, they draped the whole thing.
I call that
Really.
Yes.
I call that softening the hardscape. So it's
Mhm.
like anytime you try to make it less industrial, like unfinished concrete anywhere is industrial look. Like
Right.
anything you could do to make it feel less like
Correct.
an industrial site.
Yeah.
When I see people hide the ballast sometimes with
Yeah.
like wine cork, little things like just
Yeah.
tricks of the trade are always a good
I
look.
actually had somebody ask me for ballast covers if we could make them the other day. So
Yep.
I got William working on that.
So
Not
that'll be
William.
ready in
Not design
2030,
William.
2034.
They already sent me the renditions of it. I was like, heck yeah, this
Uh-huh.
is good. So, but I mean, yeah,
It's all about hiding the mechanics
Yes.
of the tent now.
100%.
And I think y'all had that dialogue recently about how it used to be about the tent was the moment. And now the tent is the moment, but the mechanics have to disappear.
it's what's under it now.
It's one.
It's the
what's under
experience
it.
that happens under the tent. It's not the tent anymore.
Correct. But
And the
tent's
photos
still-
that you can get from it.
and the Instagram.
It's all about the
It's all
Instagram.
about It's all about
It's-
the Instagram.
It's the Instagram. I want how many clicks am I going to get on my wedding? So
Correct.
let's blow it out.
Let's blow it out.
This is the last free therapy question. Today's
Sure.
podcast has been all about me. I've worked through a lot today.
Ray's feeling better about himself.
I am. You know, I'm going to go in the mirror and say, "You matter, big guy." God, you there? It's me, Margaret. So many people in the industry, like families, work together, and obviously,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
for a young couple, and especially with your educational background, We talked about how to mitigate issues with coworkers and with
Sure.
employees. Working with a spouse, working with someone who you truly love. I'm sure that there might have been 1 or 2 times where it wasn't always a deal.
Yeah.
What's a fun way or maybe a fun anecdote before we close down the shop on how? Because someone out there might be like, oh, I'm the only person. I fight with my son.
Sure.
I fight with my wife.
Oh yeah. No, it is a work in progress for us.
Anything worth having is always.
It is, and I think like William and I deeply at the core of our relationship are wonderful friends, and we have very important roles in the business that when we work together, it is incredible and unattainable. Like what we're able to accomplish when we work together is amazing, but it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging. And so sometimes I keep a sticky note of things that he's done that's agitated me all week or that I don't agree with. And when we have our Thursday mornings, I get to have my moment.
Bring it up in the sales
Oh.
meeting?
No, just
You'll
with
see
us two. Just with us two.
on addendum A, B,
Yes.
C3.
Yes, I do, but not with everyone.
For those that can't see, William is nodding his head in
He is,
enthusiastic
he is.
agreement right now.
He knows, and that's really worked for us. Like, I'll just keep that notepad, and I'm like, I don't agree with this policy or how you quoted this job or whatever, and then we just kind of talk it out, figure it out, and then we move on.
Yeah.
And so it's great. We love working together. It is a challenge, and we are working on policies and how to standardize a lot of what we do in our next 5 years for us. But it's a blessing, but a challenge too.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Well, congrats to the first, it's 3 years, right?
Yeah, 3 years in
Congrats
October.
to the first 3 years, and I'm sure I
Thanks.
speak for Davis and Evan. Shout out Evan, he's like our young Jamie on the Joe Rogan
Yeah,
Experience.
he is.
Yes.
Jamie.
I mean this sincerely, probably more so than most times I say it. I wish you guys continued.
For sure.
Thank you.
Y'all both seem to be grateful for what you got, and you both seem to have an ambition and anticipation moving forward. Davis, this is one of my favorite. You are truly one of my favorite guests that we've had
Thank
the
you.
opportunity to sit down with, and
Thanks.
a lot of people are just like,
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do with my hands. You're a formidable foe, and I'm sure that moving forward, we're going to get a chance to see much more. Davis, you're okay, I guess.
I'll give her a hug.
Yeah, you will.
We're on a hug.
We
No, I
are.
mean you. Like you're okay. I'm enamored with her. Like you're just. I'm
Yeah. I've known she's awesome. I've known
Thanks,
William's
Davis.
awesome.
gonna go call Jaw. Like we have to go get her.
We're gonna hire William.
Hire Morgan Shirley.
And Morgan. I'll do it.
If anybody out there in Baton Rouge happens to see this,
Cypress
guess
Tents
what? If you're gonna
Yeah.
sub-rent from Cypress. If you're gonna
Please
have
do.
if you're gonna have a second funeral, use Cypress.
Cypress
Tents.
Tents Events.
That's
And
it.
There
whether
you
it's
go.
whether it's your first wedding, your second, your third, or you're marrying the same
Call
person
them
4
all.
times
Call
because
them.
you didn't have a therapist,
Correct.
Please
Now you
contact
have a
Cypress
therapist
Rentals.
and the tent rental, and
You
you can
do.
work through all your stuff.
You do. Cypress Tents and Events.
That's
Cypress Tents Events / therapy.
Therapy.
LLC.
Do you remember what was it? Foot massage and chicken. The famous YouTube. Welcome to Bob Joe's Chicken and Foot Massage.
Yes.
We're just going to collaborate. We like to end on a high note. This
We do.
podcast just turned crappy in about 2 seconds. For that, Davis, Miss Shirley, Amre, the handsome William in the back, and Evan. We're out.
Later, taters.